welcome back to my kitchen. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make the stunning little lavender flower and the leaves that go with it. And for this tutorial what you're going to need a nylon rolling pin, your bore tools, 22 gauge wire, a water pen and a veining tool, and a daisy plunger cutter. Now you can get these in sets of 4, and I'm using the medium sized daisy cutter, and then I've got a very large daisy cutter here, well worn one, but it's perfect for my leaves. We've got some petal glue, and then we've got our dusting powders. We've got 2 shades of purple and a green, my petal pad, your Florist tape, and then I've got some ready-made leaves, but I'm going to show you how we're going to make these. And then to color the gum paste for the green leaves, I've used Cake Flora's Avocado Green. So let's start. Alright, so what you want to do to start off with is you want to cover your wire with just a thin piece of gum paste that goes over the tip of it. So all I'm going to do, just take a little bit. I'm not going to make a hook on this wire because as you can see it's very narrow. Pop that into a little bit of petal glue, pop that in the center, break off the excess, and then I'm just going to work that onto the wire. Just pulling off and squeezing it on. And you can roll it, and you want to have this as thin as you can get it, because this is what your flowers are going to attach to down the center of the wire. Right. Now the best thing is to make a few of these up, let them set, leave them overnight or just for a couple of hours, depends if you're in a hurry. But there we go, that's all you need to do to the wire. And here I've got one that I made yesterday, nice and dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my flowers and I'm going to add them to this little stalk. You want to roll it into a ball and then roll that out. Take your plunger cutter, plunge it, break it free from the sugar paste, and just wipe it down so that all those little petals are nice and clean, so that when you plunge it out you can see that they're nice and smooth around the edges. Cut a couple of those out. Remember to smooth that down, because what will happen if you don't do that, you can see that's not really clean around the edges. You're not going to get a nice clean cut daisy. It's going to have rough edges, or it's going to be joined to one another, to all the petals. Right. Now what you want to do is just cut those in half, so you've got 4 petals on either side. So what you want to do is just put a little bit of water around the tip, get one of your petals, press it on there, bring it round and just pinch it closed. And that's your first row. Then your second row, you do exactly the same. And pop a bit of water on there. Then I like to bring the petals to the edge, press it on there, bring it up and pinch it closed. And you carry that same procedure all the way down to you've covered your purple on the stem. can see your lavender starting to form. It's a very quick, easy little flower to make, and they make super little filler flowers if you're making a bouquet of flowers on your cake. Now, because I'm getting down to the bottom, it's getting a bit tricky, so I'm just going to pop that on. There we go. So each row is just 4 petals from your daisy. Probably one of the most useful little cutters I've got in my toolbox. I use it for lots of different things. Right. That one petal just needs a little dab of water there. And I'm using water rather than petal glue because it doesn't get so sticky if you use the petal glue. There we go. And there's my last one. Now with the last one, what you do is you just pinch that round the bottom onto your wire and just pull it down slightly, just so that it finishes it off nicely. Now you can make your lavender longer, or you can make it with a little gap and more flowers. You get various types of lavender flowers. Now that I'm going to leave to dry. And then once that's dry, I can dust it. But I'm going to show you how to make the leaves next. You can add green avocado or whatever green you want to your white blossoms flower paste. And I'm just going to roll that out so that I can cut out my daisy petals on this, but the large daisy petal that I've got. Now if you have leaf cutters, you're welcome to use those, but this just works perfectly for my lavender leaves. Right. Okay, now where I've got rough edges, I'm just going to neaten those up just by trimming around the edge there. And then I'm going to cut these petals off from the center of that daisy. Okay, so now I'm left with this very plain looking petal. But to get the veining on it for the leaf, now if I pick up this one here, you can see I've got all these little veins on it. Now you get lots of different tools and veiners, but I'm going to use my water pen's cap, which has got lots of little ridges on it. So I'm going to start the bottom and just roll up the top. I'm going to cut it in half, and then with my veining tool I'm just going to go down the center of that leaf to form the leaf. And do that with the rest. You can see you get quite a few leaves from one flower. Okay. I'm not going all the way down because I've still got to put a wire in this. And if I go all the way down, I'm going to make it quite thin there to get the wire through. Okay, so let's wire a couple of these. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put some wires through these. I'm using the 22 gauge wire, and I'm just going to cut these. And as I've done with my other flower tutorials, you just pop it into a little bit of the petal glue, wipe off the excess, and then in the center of that flower you're just going to feed that wire through by guiding it with your finger and your thumb. Okay, let's just mix that up there. And there we have one leaf. And these don't have to go in any particular container to dry. I just pop them onto my petal pad and just tip the edge over like that of the leaf. And then if the leaf is quite broad at the base, then what I do is I just pinch that onto the wire. Just so that it sits nicely on the wire. There we go. Just pulling off the excess and pop that there to dry. And you would continue doing that with all your leaves. And I would leave them to dry overnight. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to quickly dust that little lavender flower and the leaves, and then I'm going to wind them together. So I'm just taking a little bit of luster dust, purple luster dust, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And then I'm going to take some quite deep purple and just touch those little petals. Right, just pop that on there, and then I'm going to take some leaves and I'm going to dust the leaves. Now these leaves are nice and dry, did these last night. Remember to also dust the undersides. These are now ready to all be wound together. So I'm going to take some Florist tape and I'm going to take my lavender. Remember to stretch it to activate it. And wind it around. You can do this one all the way down. Snip it off towards the end. Right, so now I'm going to take my leaf and attach it to my flower stalk, but first activate your Florist tape, twirl it around the top and bring it down and just bend that ever so slightly, and then take your flower and attach it to the flower stalk itself. And twirl that all the way down. There we go. And we can add another one to that. Bend it slightly. And add that one just a little bit below the other one. And there we have our lavender. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. It's a really easy tutorial to do. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to you joining me in my next one. Till then, goodbye.